Welcome to a new season of Spotlight Arts. I'm Dr. Stephen McCarthy, the Arts Coordinator for Los Angeles Unified School District.
And I'm Christopher Rodriguez, LA Unified's Music Advisor.
Spotlight Arts is all about shining a light on the amazing arts happening in our communities. Yes, we shine the light on you.
And through you, we are determined to put arts and creativity at the center of education.
In this episode, we are focusing on arts advocacy and highlighting stories that demonstrate the transforming power of the arts.
Sometimes, one person's passion can be enough to inspire future generations of arts advocates.
Let's peek into the world of such a person, right here at the renowned Crenshaw High School in LA Unified. Crenshaw's incredible music teacher and choir director, Iris Stevenson, has taken the Crenshaw Choir to perform all over the world as arts ambassadors.
They've even performed for the President of the United States. Really? They have? The President?
And as a result of this one act of arts advocacy, a legacy has come full circle to impact the next generation of Crenshaw musicians.
So here we are. Crenshaw High School.
Let's open the doors to an experience you've never seen the likes of.
All right, so everybody together, you gonna say,
My name is Iris Stevenson McCullough, and I am the vocal music teacher at Crenshaw High School. I'm the chairperson of the music department. I also work with the band dancers and whoever else comes up in here. That's what I do.
I think the arts play a pivotal role in allowing students to have another opportunity to show their brilliance. And when you give students multiple ways to show that they are creative, that they are impactful, and that they can contribute, I think you spark something in them that causes them to have a greater sense of belief in themselves and their abilities and the things that they can do in the world.
Way before I got to Crenshaw, I didn't join choir. I was scared to sing in front of people. I didn't know how to hit notes, and I just learned that I could hit notes. I could do whatever I wanted to do if I put my mind up to it.
It was a great foundation for me, especially growing up. I was really shy, didn't really know how to look people in the eye, and I didn't know how to kind of express myself, especially around a big group of people.
If you can't really sing, she would train your voice to where you leave her class and you can be the best singer in the world.
Growing up in this community, you don't think that you can actually make a living and take care of your family in the arts. I started out at Crenshaw as a student. I was in the theater department as a dancer, and I sung in the choir in the alto section. She has inspired us in so many ways to pursue the arts as a career, to advocate for the arts in education as an educator, and to continuously push our dreams and push our children, our students, towards the same thing.
There are more people to reach, more souls to reach. There has to be a continuation of passing on from generation to generation, and that's why I'm here.
Our students desperately need the arts. As a music teacher who has done some of everything in every form of art, I know exactly what the arts can do for our students. In fact, we need more art.
Being able to be a part of the arts at school is very expressive. I can express myself in many different ways, not just with singing, but with acting and my horrible drawing. But I know that I am impacting other people when I do that, when I do the arts.
I think of the times that I had been on tour with the choir. That was the only way for me to go to places like Korea and France and China. I didn't get that from any other organization that I was a part of. I think that it does give a lot of children a lot of different opportunities, and they get to see a lot of different jobs, and they can create new dreams. Yeah.
We went there. We went to Kenya. We went to see President Obama's grandmother. And from there, we went to the White House. And it was fantastic. We didn't know we would ever go to the White House. That was just a dream come true. So we went to sing for the reception at their invitation, and that's how we met with President Obama.
life without the arts, it feels like a world that's in black and white. You need those different colors, you need those different shades. It helps kids connect with other children. So I like to believe that music is like the universal language.
To have art, you find yourself free, and you find that space within your mind to where it's create, and make something original that is of you.
We wanted to put the name of Crenshaw High School on the tongues of everybody in the world. We have some of the biggest, the best, and the brightest young people right here. They're your doctors, your lawyers, they're everything, they're your artists. They're on the television shows right now. So Crenshaw High School is blowing up. We're all the way up.
In Los Angeles, handguns bang on the block, but bombs explode on the walls. Spitfire burners bring beauty to abandoned buildings.
We don't burn down the city.
We build castles from the rubble.
Our art exhibits are broken down brick walls, shady alleyways and drainage tunnels. We inhale pollution
and respire revolutions.
Our art inspires the evolution of broken institutions.
Using the shoulders of great.
As stair steps to our future, I demand that these lungs breathe.
Chicana.
Breathe.
Van Halen.
Breathe. Adam Levine. Eazy-E. Breathe. We are walking on Constellation, the walk of fame that connects Tupac Shakur to Jim Morrison. The streets that unite Hollywood to Compton, Laurel Canyon to Crenshaw. We walk on heavenly bodies and kick off stardust. In LA, there is talent everywhere. Every corner store and every bar. And have the next Bukowski stumbling out. Poems packed in patchwork pockets.
A lifetime of experience hiding behind his eyes.
The 13-year-old boy on the bus
with beats, a pen, and a notebook is the next Kendrick Lamar.
His rhymes smooth, paving the gravel streets of Compton as he rolls by. The next Jackson Pollock is sitting in math, drawing a homework that's due that very day. The next dumbfounded, K-Town tatted on his chest, faced aged by the immigration pains of Asian boys and girls.
Looking for a new life in a city of Los Angeles.
Children of mothers with lost dreams.
But here is where we finally find ourselves.
This is the literary riot. Open minds over fists and crimes.
There's artistic rhymes.
Our mouths are guns.
And our words are the bullets. LA taught me that everyone's voice can be a song. And if we yell it together, we're an orchestra. If we yell it together, we're unstoppable.
Immutable.
100% beautiful.
And musical. And loud. And so absolutely here. We inhale pollution.
And respire revolutions.
Using the shoulders of greats.
As stair steps to our future, I demand that these lungs breathe.
Lock my penis in a casket with 2 pounds of sage. Send him up the river to the lady of the lake so she can wash the dirt away from the portal of my wounds. And I see past the pain for the gift to come through.
The Arts for Incarcerated Youth Network is a network of 10 independent organizations who do arts programming with kids in juvenile detention facilities across Los Angeles County. So these are the juvenile detention halls and the juvenile detention camps, which are residential locked facilities for kids. I'm Kylie Schilling. I'm the executive director of the Arts for Incarcerated Youth Network here in Los Angeles County.
Street Poets was one of the original founding members of the Arts for Incarcerated Youth Network, and so we felt like there was a body of knowledge that we had gained individually that collectively would serve our cause.
A lot of us have been involved in this work and really looking at who are the young people who are incarcerated, and I think we're really starting to explore the intersection of how do we invest in arts education on the front end as a way to actually break the school to prison pipeline.
I got involved with Street Poets when I was 16. I was detained in the probation camp for boys, and I was actually a participant in a writing workshop back in 1996. So when I go into the workshops, it's like I'm going into a room full of mirrors, you know what I mean? Because I've been in the exact shoes that a lot of the young people that we work with are.
We come into whatever facility we're working in, whether it's a school or detention facility, and we bring with us a passion for the work and we bring a lot of empathy and a determination to come in contact with the human spirit of each and every participant.
The most transformative thing I've seen is when young people take ownership of the workshop, when it becomes their own, when they feel empowered.
This van is a very magical and revolutionary idea in practice. I've seen it in multiple venues and situations, from schools to city parks to sidewalks that we just pull up on sometimes randomly on the street. And it's like a moving invitation, right? So when we get somewhere, when they see the amazing mural on the van, when we step out and we set up a microphone and we're playing music and we're saying, yo, come speak with us.
What's up, Fremont? Street Poets. We got an open mic on. You want to get on the mic? Come on through.
Street Poets, they really changed my life. When I noticed what they were about, how they was giving students opportunities, go places. For instance, we went to Bethune last year and we was able to perform for lots of kids. That was a real good experience.
Every time you look into me with those eyes, I believe I'm an underachiever, an underbeliever, but everything I ever did to you.
It actually really helped our kids come out. Street Poets does a great thing when they have an open mic forum that they do for the kids. Or some of our kids went and joined over there.
She was a real cutie. I stopped. Every time that I think with that watch, I know that I was right by.
But them coming in here, having our kids actually open up with their writing. Some of our kids couldn't even, realistically read, but coming to these different sessions, Street Poets, and over, they're actually starting to, small progresses, but it's working, and you can see the progress in our kids.
It gives me a lot of meaning to life. I didn't really have any passion or I wasn't really inspired. Poetry, you could really express yourself and get it deeper into thought, and that's what I really love and will do.
Without art, we would be lost, because art is how we express ourselves, whether it's dance, it's music, whether it's poetry or rapping, it's how we express ourselves, and it's how would we live in a world without being able to express ourselves.
Starting in my own work, I taught at Rikers Island for many years. We realized then that they were building prisons in New York State based off fourth grade test scores. And that just seemed crazy. How could you start building prisons based on the test scores that fourth graders are? But they were making a plan. If you're not producing right now, you know exactly where you're gonna end up 10, 15 years from now, right? And when we dug deeper and looked into the research a little bit more, we looked at the numbers and we saw, wow, to go to New York State public schools, they're spending about $10,000 to $15,000 a year. But the prisons, they were spending, literally the most recent estimates is over $170,000 a year to keep one person at Rikers Island for a year. So $15,000 maybe for public school allotment to educate, and over $170,000 to actually incarcerate.
I'm a youth teaching artist, performer, and I've been working with Street Poets since I met him at Juvenile Hall when I was 14 years old. I'm 25 now. When I met Street Poets, I couldn't really read or write that well. It's done a huge impact on my life. They also helped me express my feelings, emotions through poetry and writing instead of violence.
After one of the classes, Chris pulled me aside and he was like, man, you're a pretty intelligent dude. You can string your words together, and who are you underneath the surface of this, this gangster, this thug who wants to be rich and, and famous and all this. That was too painful of a place for me to go. I had a lot of old childhood memories and wounds and things that I was running from that, I just didn't have the courage to tap into. And when I did get to a place where I was able to tap into those things, it was like the weight of the world was lifted off my shoulders. I was reconnecting with the humanity that was buried beneath all those other layers, you know what I'm saying? And I actually started to forgive myself for having made such a mess of my life up to that point. I was healing, you know what I'm saying?
This was really the power of the network to be an advocacy body, that all of our member organizations have been doing the work. They've been doing the programming work and engaging with young people, which takes a lot of time and energy and dedication. But by coming together, we started to say, is there a way that we can leverage that interaction and that engagement to start drawing out priorities or barriers from the young people themselves, so that they're articulating their needs, what they see as opportunities, that we could then feed into the network as a collective body.
I think these young people have the answer. I think
these young people have the medicine that the world needs to really shift it and change it in a way that that I think the world wants to go in, you know? Through poetry and writing, when we go into these juvenile detention centers and we give these kids a pen and paper, you realize like why they're incarcerated, and a lot of times it's because they didn't have a place like Street Poets, or they didn't have somebody like yourself that's sitting here, you know, really interested in what's going on here, you know.
I don't think you can separate the arts and education. If you're interested in creating a pathway for a young person to find their voice and find a sense of purpose in the world, there is no more effective way than using the arts. Especially in the LAUSD schools and our young people in the world today, they're dealing with a lot, you know. They're exposed to a lot. They carry some really heavy and deep wounds too. And the arts create a safe channel for young people to express what they've been through, to tell their own stories, and then ultimately to access the gifts that they have that often lie right next to their wounds within them.
If you are a young person who feels like the world doesn't listen to you, that adults in your life don't listen to you, there are ways for you to tell your story. There are places for you to go to where you can be seen and heard and felt in a deep way. And you can do that through art, you can do that through writing, you can do that through dance, you can do that through singing, through painting. And don't let the world tell you that it's not valuable, that it's not needed, that it's not necessary. Artists, dancers, singers, painters are just as important as lawyers and doctors and teachers and basketball players and football players. They're just as necessary, if not more necessary, because artists bring beauty into the world and they reflect the world back to human beings. So consider it as a way of transforming yourself and transforming the world around you and bringing beauty into the world, which we really, 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 really need right now.
There is a student named Art in every classroom across the nation. But we plucked out her voice box, stole her brushes, clipped her guitar strings, and gave her a seat in the back of the classroom. Without her, we are all separate islands, floating at sea by ourselves, alone in crowded hallways. Without her, we have no life rafts, bridges, anchors. We chew on our pencils, look out the window, stare at the clock. There is a student named Art in every classroom across the nation, and when we give her her voice back, we start to listen. She dresses in primary colors and smiles at strangers during passing period. Art plays the piccolo in her best friend's folk band. The songs they play don't have much rhythm, but still get everyone dancing. Her mouth is a garden that does not whisper thorns to anyone. She'd rather plant seeds in the palms of their hands, promises that they will blossom no matter their roots. Art doesn't understand math because of its solid and straight lines. She can't fathom there being only one answer to anything. So she sketches her own equations. Poetry plus passion equals peace. She subtracts subjectivity from logic, finds that there is so much comfort in creation, beauty in becoming the person people want to sit next to at lunchtime. Art includes everyone in the conversation. Her messages are murals on barren brick walls, hoping all who stop to stare will take a shade of color with them. Some teachers think Art is the troublemaker, blame her for daily disruptions, doodling, and scattered attention, but Art is the reason we woke up at 6 and took 2 buses to get here, just to hear her speak and sparkle, just to learn her lesson for today. But if we close down her theaters, plunder her paint, deactivate her microphone, and unplug her voice, school becomes a silence that is perfectly intact. No one wants to be the person to break it. There's a student named Art, and your classroom, your school, your district, your nation, she can be the click of comprehension the moment you master the concept, as long as we give her the chance today. She writes of the world she would like to see tomorrow, a world that is colorful and warm, the perfect weather for anyone to bloom.
My name is Judith Francisca Vaca. I am the founder of Spark, along with two other women, so a kind of co-founder. In 1976, we began a nonprofit there with three women artists that were looking to create a place where we could work in social justice in the arts. My role here at the Great Wall is also founder. I was the director through the project, and I developed and led the program through the whole of its production. Art is really about connectedness. It's about the capacity to communicate your humanness to another human being. Whether it's music or whether it's visual arts or whether it's dance and performance art, the arts have this amazing capacity to reach people that we can't do through speech, that we can't do through trying to negotiate a contract or trying to negotiate with one another. The Great Wall here is a great example of that.
When you look at the arts historically, it was for the affluent, it was for the upper class, and the masses didn't get to experience the fine arts. But because of its transformative powers, because of how it changes one's life in a positive way, the arts is deserved by all, and it is a person's right to experience the arts.
Judy always said that in order to do great art education, that you had to be half child. And I think there's something truly magical about that statement, that, you know, it's the sense that they come not half empty, but half full. And in most instances, nobody really is asking them, tell me about your family, tell me about where you come from, tell me, you know, it's really looking at the value of their story and how it then transcribes into potentially a mural design.
Actually, Judith Baca comes to our school yearly, and if you look here on this wall here is our Emancipation Project. Our 6th grade students participate in this project, along with students from UCLA, graduate students. They're their mentors. So this wall is all about what our students dream to be when they grow up.
At the Judy Baca Arts Academy, for example, where we're working right now in LAUSD, we're teaching the children how to imagine for themselves a future or what they think they would like to become. We're giving them the capacity to dream the imagery for it and then to create a portrait. And these portraits are very much like the kinds of marks that you make on the wall when you're a child. You know, your mother, your father will mark the height of your head and at 7, right? And then a few years later, you'll come back and you'll stand in the same place and you're a few inches taller, right? And you can see your growth.
Since I love soccer, so I decided to give it a soccer background. Soccer is life to me. In the future, I want to be a doctor and help the people that have cancer and diabetes.
Well, these pieces, the images of I would like to become a veterinarian or I would like to be a DJ, and the child has created all the imagery that affirms that, and then painted a giant portrait of themselves, which is permanently installed at the school in the cafeteria. A few years from now, they'll come back and they'll look at that and they'll be able to remember what they were dreaming of. And it'll be a marker of how close they've come to that or whether they're moving in that direction. So it's not only a dreaming of what is possible, it's about teaching them that the space between imagining and making real is very small.
I first met Judy probably about 4 years ago now. Having her mentorship was really important, and it really sort of brought life back into my work and like a renewed energy. Sort of the point of the mural was to think about the 1965 uprising in Watts, and for us to take a second to really recognize and commemorate it and to think about that history and making connections between that historical moment, the present life, and also imagining a future. So really asking the questions, what does Watts see for itself in the future? And this mural is one way of sort of like asking the question, but also accomplishing maybe one answer, one possibility. So I think this piece is sort of like a meta work, if you will, that it's about children, it's about a community, but it's actually at a school, it's on a school facade. So it's sort of pushing that message back, right? Like this is a part of the culture, this is a part of the school, this is a part of the space.
Now, you know, after really studying closely with Judy and understanding the, you know, reflecting back on all of the different communities that we've worked with in designing these works, there's really no other way to approach in a thoughtful and creative way the depiction of a community's history or even an individual's history.
And I think kids get excited about that, and they have a relationship to, I think particularly obviously in our inner city and in our underserved communities, that murals are really their first entree into the arts, because that's what they see. And I'm proud of Spark being able for the 40 years to provide an ethnic base to the city, because that's what we've done with our public artwork. And whether it's in and around the city or it's inside of schools, we've been able to do that.
If we're going to have young people who are really going to make a difference in our society, who are going to be the leaders in restoring equality and justice and making things right in our communities, the pathway to do that is through the arts. That's why it's so important for young people to be exposed to the arts at a very early age. It's not just about learning how to play an instrument or how to draw a picture or how to, move and dance. It's about changing not only yourself, but the world around you.
I have a very strong feeling that the arts are the way to learn everything, and that we can, through the arts, teach science, teach math. We demonstrated it here. And most importantly, we demonstrated that we can teach people how to relate to one another and how to be better citizens and to actually carry on the ideas that we taught here into the future.
Hello, arts advocates, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Spotlight Arts.
We hope that you've been inspired by these stories.
Art can transform lives.
So let us shine a spotlight on the arts in your neighborhood,
in your schools,
and in your cities.
Until the next time, I'm Dr. Stephen McCarthy.
And I'm Chris Rodriguez.
And this is Spotlight Arts.